G'day there you lot, welcome back in my shed. I'm PC and yes, it's good to be back in the shed. Starting this video on Tuesday as tomorrow is supposed to be 30 plus degrees and I'm not much interested in that. Now I did pose the question in my last video, what about grinding a drill with axial clearance only, because we were looking at an axial grinding attachment. So I thought, yes, I'll be a smart ass, I'll put it up in my powered Royal Oak axial grinding attachment here and give it a go. The only thing is I can't swing the base around. This is a very early model unit and I have to dismantle it to do what I wanted to do, and I thought, no, I'm not going to do that, that's too much labour. So then I thought about Mr. Brearley. You can disconnect the swinging action so that it is axial grinding only, and I believe that is for grinding the inner elbow or the sharp corner on step drills or counterbores. You dress a wheel to a very sharp edge and use it to grind in to get the clearance in the corner, which is always a bugger. Two ways you can grind a clearance in there, or use a cut-off wheel to put a run-out groove, which is, I think, a hell of a lot easier. So I put a drill into the Brearley. I'll give you a good look at it now. I did the first test before I put the camera on, and the result is interesting but no good. So we'll give it a few more tries. It'll probably be tomorrow before I do any more grinding, because I'm about to go rake leaves now thanks to the storm over the weekend. So I'll give you a quick look at this drill before I change the position inside the head. Back soon. Okay, we're now looking at the tip of the drill, and I hope you can see it. It's as close as I can get without sticking the bloody camera in its ear. But it's virtually a straight facet, and the chisel edge is over at about 45 degrees instead of 15, so it's really no good. I'll recreate where I had it in the grinder, give you a bit of an idea of what's going on there, but no, so far not happy, but it could just be the timing that does affect how this works quite a lot. So I'll set the camera up a little bit further out and show you what the setup is. Okay, it's a bit of a three-handed effort trying to run this machine, and where I've got it situated, it's not a lot easy to do. This is one of the setting tools that is put into the rear. I hope you can see it. Yes, you can. It's put into the rear of the spindle, and the drill is located into the conical shape in the back. That is in an effort to centralise it. This particular 6-jaw chuck is fairly badly worn, so it doesn't help all that much. God, there's a lot of crap up inside this bore. Now she slides free. Okay, the drill is located. The outer lip is lined up with the diameter index along the setting gauge, and mind you, for what we're doing now, the stick out doesn't matter, simply because the rotating or swiveling movement has been disconnected and we're using the actual movement only. I'll put the spindle around to the correct setting position. Okay, in that position it gets axial relief only, operated by the cam down there, pushing the spindle in the main body forward as I bring it back. Now I'm a bit suspicious that my timing wasn't correct. I'll line up my setting gadget again, select Mr. Cone up the back of it, and I think it needs to be advanced a little bit, so I'll go about 5 degrees. Mr. Cone's in well and truly. Okay, and we'll give that a whirl and see if it goes any better. Okay, back again. We'll put a bit of power on and see if we can do any grinding that's worthwhile. another 3 hour vent feed. And I don't think this is going to produce anything worthwhile. Okay, we'll let it stop, take the drill out and have a look. Well, if anything, it's exactly the same. We've got just a big flat land across the back, and the chisel angle is even more pronounced, excessive. Okay, that's it for today. I'll welcome you back tomorrow, and I'll have another try with retarding it a little bit. Okay fellas, back on this job again. As you can see, there's no clearance, or there's negative clearance behind the cutting edge. And the chisel edge is about 5 degrees off being correct, and this machine has always been very sensitive to being set up. I'll have another fiddle with it. I set the drill up to the standard situation and then rotated it at about 10 degrees anti-clockwise to bring it in later on the cam. So I'll take it just off the setting gauge and see how that gives me a point, but it's very, very sensitive. I would say that part of the swinging action takes the heel of the land down, and that's just not being done this time. Okay, I'll give it another setup and try again. Okay, you can see here there's a gap between the setting gauge and the lip of the drill. So I've timed it to my starting point up here on the cam, to the gauge, and just back a few degrees. So I'm going to gradually decrease that difference until the lip is back down on the setting gauge, and see what effect that has on the grind of the drill. And I'll just take you out a little bit and let you see this grind being progressed. This could be better. It's starting to take it off the heel, which was pretty high. I'm only feeding in about 2 thou, at the most, per pass. But back right there and we'll have a look. once the wheel stopped. Okay, we've got the chisel edge very, very close, and I'd say we're back to about 0 clearance. Oh boy, this is real touch and go. I'll go just a fraction more towards the setting gauge and give that a try. Bring it back when it's ready to grind. Okay, this time it was only backed off about 3 degrees. We'll give that a go. I'll wind it back out and see how that is. Oh, that is so close. So near and yet so far. Well, that might be almost worth a try. Chisel edge is just a little bit further than I like. I'll have to think about this one. Okay, for this little episode, I've gone back to the same height off the setting gauge, but I've increased the cam action here to try and give it a bit more clearance. That was very, very close to a good drill. And remember, I'm using axial movement only, so it's something that we can replicate at home. Okay, power on, we'll give it a try. Pull the stopper out, shouldn't leave that in. No, that's grinding completely up the ship. And set up again. Okay, just sparking out on this try. We'll change the timing just a little bit again. And we'll see how it goes with the captain filter. Well, I hope you can see that. Chisel edge is almost great, and it looks like I've got a bit of relief, not a high relief, but enough relief there that the heel is going to pass without rubbing. Okay, that looks good enough to me. I will set it up in one of the machines and try and make a hole with it. typical of drills, it's getting a little bit wide in the web, but this is a very old drill and I haven't ground that much off it, so yeah, but it should still work. The proof is in making of a hole. Okay guys, here's an appropriate piece of scrap in the milling machine, the closest thing I had with the drill chuck. Now it's going through without a pilot, so there doesn't require a bit of feed pressure. As I said, the web on the drill is quite wide, but it drills respectably, and the edge looks like it's making a reasonable hole. Now it took a fair bit of pressure, and as you can see it's not bringing up ribbons forth, but I think if I bothered to thin the web that would drill a hell of a lot faster. But how much time do you put into something like this? Well guys, I think that proved the point. An axial relief grinding system will make a reasonable drill point. Nothing too flash. It does make a hole, but if you can use the same thing on countersinks, taps, your drills, it makes it more of a worthwhile attachment. And you saw the guts of the machine that I pulled apart. It's not that damn difficult to build. So pretty well up to you. Compared to the Clarkson style drill grinder, I still like the wiper action drill grinders myself, a bit like that Clarkson. I do have another wiper arm off the Serbian tool cutter grinder. It's quite a good drill grinder as well, but this gives you an alternative. It's just a sleeve, a collet chuck at the front with a ER 32 collet, a 25mm plain shank running in bronze bushes, and a hand wheel at the back with those pegs to run on that cam. Man, you can't get any easier than that to build. Okay, if you see what you like and you like enough, please subscribe and give me a tick. Bye for now.